Okay, so I just wanted to share this quick moment with everybody to show what's really possible on free accounts, because I think a lot of people are naturally consumed by the idea that sub quality is everything, which for the most part I agree with. But if you've got uniquely great chatters that can extract an angle on anybody, irrespective of their spending habits, interests, or anything else, crazy things can happen. And I mean, look, let's take a look here at this account. All right. We're new into taking this account on, maybe a couple of months or so. But as you can see here, it's currently 6:25 a.m. So it's 6:25 a.m. and we're at $11,400 gross on an account that has less than 100,000 free subs, and to this point has averaged less than 2K a day, 2K a day or so, roughly 2,000 a day. And we're at 11 and a half by 6 a.m. But where I want to demonstrate the value of this is actually here in the purchase follow-up history. You might be thinking, oh, okay, so, they're just spamming out a bunch of mass messages. They're sending out a bunch of content at super cheap rates. They're probably sending out sex tapes and all sorts. This creator is near enough no nudity. This creator has very little explicit content, in some cases, none at all. We are extremely limited by the content that we have. And we are also limited by the fact that it's free, meaning that we don't really have any sort of chance to screen these people before we take on the account. So what I want to demonstrate here is the price that things are being sold at. Just have a look at the average price people are buying content for. And note that they're different names. These are not the same people. This is not one lucky whale. This is, I would say there's probably an average of two, maybe max two, in many cases one $200 purchase here per person. Because we're scaling slowly. We're not even sort of throwing the book at them. We're taking our time here. We're working through and we're building relationships. And the value of this relationship building not only means can we charge an extortionate price for basically any content because they are unlocking it because it's us, but also because we have strong English chatters that are so emotionally intelligent that whatever they sell is sold so compellingly and so well that it's going to be bought irrespective of what's underneath it content-wise. It's a demonstration of what English chatters can do. And I think people will outsource to the Philippines, or they'll just kind of chuck on any chatters, or even in many cases have no chatters, or just sort of hammer mass messages and hope for the best. But honestly, I don't need to sit here and scroll forever for you to note here the value of emotionally intelligent chatters. I mean, I don't really see anything other than $200 purchases coming in from anybody here. Where is your $20 purchases? Where are your $30 purchases? I, in fact, don't even think really there are any, because this is just such strong relationship building. And I think it speaks volumes for the value of good chatters. Okay, so an update where we're at a little later on. It's coming up to 8:30 now. So we're a lot further along in the day. And of course, figures naturally have reflected that. Nearly 32K gross now. A huge personal best for this account. And today was a day where we decided to see what was capable, what was possible with the whales that we've manifested relationships with. The key thing to kind of note here, though, is that we know how to get up the hill, but not over the other side and back down. We know how to maintain the relationship. We know when to stop. We know when to relax the sell. We know when to sort of stop pitching the unlocking of the previous video, whatever it might be, in order to kind of maintain that happiness and good spirit in the relationship. So 30K, 31K, 31.6, 8:30 p.m. GMT. Stupid figures, really, to be honest. But nonetheless, a tribute really to kind of the effort and dedication that the chatters have put into this account over the course of the last months. An insight into kind of the purchase history as well, so that you can see really like evidence of why it is a chatting thing. Because most sort of accounts that are able to do this revenue are pushing crazy sub volume and relying almost entirely on having super high sub volume, very low prices, selling basically everything for nothing, versus this creator here where actually there is very little in the way of explicit content. And fans, honestly, it's nothing crazy. Last 24 hours, we've received 356. Last 7 days, we've received just over 2K. So to sit there and say that it's because there's a lot of subs isn't a fair comment. And arguably the most interesting part of this entire thing is that subscriptions over the last 30 days are down 10%. Yeah, if we look at statements over the course of the last couple of days, if we pick, say, Saturday, for example, or if we pick maybe Friday is probably more realistic because that's when we kicked off our plan. So total earnings are up 381%. Tips 321, messages 398. It speaks for itself as to the chatting strategy here. Need I say any more? But we're also at 0.04. If you cast back to the start of the video, I'd imagine we're a lot closer to 0.1, 0.2. Definitely not in the 0.0s. So huge progress in a very short space of time. So where I think the value is in the figures on this particular day isn't necessarily like how much money was made. Moreover, how much money was made versus what the daily average was with no difference in the traffic that came into the account. We had no extra subs. In fact, we were actually down on the previous week, I do believe, in subs. We also had no difference in traffic quality or acquisition channels. It was all the complete same. The same volume of the same subs from the same acquisition channels. So there was zero difference. But we went from averaging 2K a day to 30 something, 30, 40,000, whatever it was, for 2 days straight. Now, that isn't because there was any sort of fortune, because there was any sort of new traffic, or anything other than just purely well-navigated chatting strategies. We manifested relationships with customers over the course of a few weeks, in some cases months, in order to kind of generate enough trust within each person. And we went that deep into the fact finding to where we know this customer so well. They have so much faith in the future that they're building with this creator, and they have so much excitement around potential content that we all fantasize about. And then boom, we plan a content release, it lands, everything hits at once. Everybody is invested in what the content that we've just released is and decided that we're now going to upsell in chats. It's completely different to anything they've seen before, and it's something that has been spoken about and teased for the longest time in the chats, so that when we release it, no wonder we're doing 200s across the board with basically every sub that's active on that account. It's no wonder that we're doing whatever it is, 16 to 20 times what we're doing on a daily average consistently 2 days in a row. But the value here, where it's really important that you take note of the strategy, is that we know when it's time to scale, but also when it's time to stop scaling. You can get caught up and you can get greedy. 200, 200, 200. You think, yeah, one more. Yeah, one more. Yeah, one more. But that's when you start to lose customers. They lose faith that you're authentic. They think I'm being scammed, or the content quality drops. In this case, we had a super limited vault. There's only so much content we can sell. So what we're going to start doing, selling shitty pictures or low quality videos, it's just going to potentially frustrate the customer. And ultimately, we're going to end up with likely some complaints. But more importantly, people that won't spend again. And the value here is being able to turn essentially a tap on or off when you want it. So knowing how to get them to the top of the hill, but not off the other side, is really, really, really important, emotionally intelligent chatting. That's the value that I want you to take.